I can't believe it's already the end of 2025, but as a gamer, one of the most exciting nights of the calendar year are the Game Awards, not just to see all the new game announcements, but to celebrate my favourites from the year just gone. I think we are all in agreement that 2025 was a fantastic year for video games, and there were so many that deserve to be rewarded. The show itself I personally don't think was as good as last year's 10th anniversary, but there were still some huge games revealed. I'm going to break down every single thing we saw first and dive into all the winners in the second part of the video. If you want to support the channel, then please leave a like and subscribe, and if you don't like it, then leave a thumbs down and let me know how I can be better for you. With the housekeeping out the way, let's jump straight into all the games shown. To kick off, we had 30 minutes of the pre-show. The very first game of the night was from Frame Interactive Studios, where you take control of a sheepdog. It first seems like you'll be herding sheep, but it quickly opens up to suggest something more magical is happening as a monolith rises out of the ground. I am unsure of the gameplay loop of this adventure game, but it was announced for 2027, which is so far away. Next up was Decrepit, made by a Swedish indie developer who is a lover of Souls games. This is first-person sword combat with something magical in the offhand. The enemies you will be facing are these horrid-looking zombie skeletal creatures, as it is really leaning into the body horror with the designs. There may also be some roguelike elements, as the press release says each death sends you back to the depths. As a lover of Souls games myself, I will be keeping one eye on this one, but for now, there is no release date. We then got a brand new look at Audio Mech, the new game from the creator of Audio Surf, where music powers your weapons. We saw a bass sword, vocal cannon, and treble bombs. This game looks like a bullet storm in a 2D space with neon lights blasting around everywhere. There is no release date for this yet, but the demo is available now. In an unexpected turn, Capcom's Pragmata showed up in the pre-show. It was a mixture of cinematics and gameplay that seemingly seemed to take place on Earth in a futuristic city. The big announcements here were the release date of April 24th, a Switch 2 release, and a demo that is available now on Steam and soon for consoles. Kepler showed off a couple of games here, with the first being a tactics RPG with a strong voice cast named Solasta 2, coming March 12th. The second was Tank Rat, a game where you can mod your tank to perform like a death-inducing rally car, releasing in spring 2026. My favourite game of the pre-show was Bradley the Badger, the debut game of a studio formed of ex-Red Dead Redemption and Mario plus Rabbids developers. This was a 3D platformer / action-adventure game that seemed to flip between worlds of other games. We saw Badgerborn, Cyber Badger, The Last Badger, and so on. This looks like a really creative game, combining the elements of 3D platformers and the environments of the other games. Evan Peters is also voicing the main character. This game was awesome, but sadly no release date yet. The last game of the pre-show was from a brand new studio in Osaka, Japan. It's a 3D game with comic-like graphics which features a combination of hand-to-hand combat and music. Stupid Never Dies was the name, and it's coming in 2026. And now the main show started, and the opening act was Laurent Testard, the composer of Clair Obscur Expedition 33, alongside the singers from arguably the best song in the game. What a spectacle it was. I loved this performance. After that, we jumped straight into the first world premiere. This honestly could have been the one last thing, but instead it was the first thing. It was a full cinematic, but it was all the hype nonetheless. As we saw the spaceship fly through the galaxy, I was wondering if it could really be this. And as the trailer ends, we see the lady's face and the bzoom of a lightsaber illuminates. It is Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, a brand new single-player action RPG set in the world of the Old Republic from creator Casey Hudson from the KOTOR and Mass Effect games. I am not sure when this game is due to release, but I absolutely cannot wait. Next up was another massive announcement, although one that was leaked a couple of days before. Actors dressed in medieval villager costumes come on stage to reveal a brand new trailer for Larian Studios' new game set in the Divinity universe. Divinity was a full cinematic which saw a man being burnt alive in a wooden structure. This had culty village vibes, as it was a party event for them. kids were there, people were having sex in front of it, there was a lot going on. Just before the man burns, some evil bursts out of him and slaughters the entire village, finishing with an ending shot of them all melded in the Burning Man structure in some gruesome, twisted model of body parts and wood. Divinity is an RPG and is their biggest game ever, even bigger than Baldur's Gate 3. There is no release date here, but as Baldur's Gate 3 was only a couple of years ago, I imagine it's a ways off yet. J.J. Abrams and the Left 4 Dead creator Mike Booth came on stage to introduce their game working with PlayStation. It's a 4-player co-op game, 4-loop. It had a futuristic setting against robots and has a reprinting mechanic which makes me think it's a roguelike. Then we had a look at Coven of the Chicken Foot. This game is from the creators of The Last of Us. It is a companion co-op game with a cartoon art style, playing as an old woman with chicken feet and some big creature. This was traditional puzzle solving in co-op, but there was no release date here. From the creators of Soma comes brand new first-person survival horror. Based on a hotel on the moon is Ontos, which looked like the spiritual successor to Soma, but in a more futuristic sci-fi setting. Stellan Skarsgård has been announced as the voice of one of the characters, probably the antagonist, and this is looking at a 2026 release. Resident Evil Requiem popped up next with the heavily speculated reveal that Leon Kennedy will be the second playable character, and yes, he still has the roundhouse kick. It has been confirmed that the game will be survival horror during the grey segments and a more action-heavy game when playing as Leon. The villain was revealed as Victor Gideon, and it seems that Leon's motivation to returning to Raccoon City is to help Grace defeat Gideon. Resident Evil Requiem is one of my most anticipated 2026 games when it releases on February 27th. From the director of Braid and The Witness is Order of the Sinking Star, a top-down puzzle game that explores different environments. This game has over 1,000 puzzles to explore, and it's coming in 2026. Exodus is the game that stars Matthew McConaughey that we saw announced at one of Jeff's events a couple of years ago. It is third-person action gameplay in a sci-fi setting. You are a character who wields something called celestial tech, which has all the cool powers. The story sees you tasked with finding a cure for a dying Earth. This has all the trappings of an epic space adventure, and there was even a focus on your team, so it could be a new Mass Effect-like. Exodus is coming in early 2027. Wizards of the Coast revealed a cinematic of their brand new game Warlock, with a gameplay reveal coming in summer 2026. Then was my game of the show, Control 2, or to say the correct title, Control Resonant. I adore Remedy. They are easily one of my favorite developers, and I loved everything they've released in the Control Alan Wake universe. The interesting thing about Control Resonant is that it looks like you play as Jesse's brother Dylan. The roles are reversed here as Dylan is traveling through a warped Manhattan looking for his sister. The service weapon has been scrapped here and replaced with Aberrant, a shape-shifting melee weapon which looked incredible. Control Resonant releases in 2026. Nagoshi Studio revealed their new game Gang of Dragon that had a pretty tense opening shot of a man being stabbed. This looked like an action-packed Japanese gangster game with guns, swords, and fast cars. Street Fighter live-action film reveal followed, where the whole cast came out on stage, all 20 or so of them. Then was Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. I love how this game looks. It has Arkham combat as well as focusing on the 3 Dark Knight films. There was a good look at the range of other playable characters like Robin and Catwoman, as well as a lot of the villains. Joker, Bane, Mr. Freeze were among some of the ones we saw. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight releases on May 29th, 2026. Now it was time for Tomb Raider. The first trailer was a full cinematic where we saw the reveal of the new Lara Croft model. It seemed to be very heavy on the environmental traversal with wall runs and leaping across gaps. The Lara model itself is okay, but I'm not super impressed by it. The game was revealed as Tomb Raider Catalyst and is coming in 2027. That wasn't it though, and immediately after we got a gameplay reveal for Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. This is a reimagining of the first game from 1996 and saw Lara fully expressing her gymnastic movements whilst exploring a temple. Let's not forget the dinosaurs too. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis is actually releasing first in 2026. 2026. One of the biggest surprises of the night was Forest 3, a sequel to Sons of the Forest. This survival game from End Night Games looked gorgeous graphically and had a sci-fi mixed with horror vibe. There were a lot of weird worm creatures, and your character has a robot claw on their shoulder which hovers on the side of the first-person view. Forest 3 sadly had no release date. Invincible Versus revealed new character Elemental, and the game is coming on April 30th, 2026. Switch 2 has an exclusive game from Kepler. This was a co-op game with a lovely 90s anime graphical style. It's called Orbitals and is coming in 2026. Mephisto entered the stage space, followed by one of Blizzard's second-to-none cinematics to reveal Diablo 4 expansion Lord of Hatred, coming April 28th, 2026. Marvel Rivals has a new hero in 2026 as well, and it's Deadpool. 007 First Light had a brief showing where we meet one of the antagonists, Balmer, played by Lenny Kravitz. And then Warframe had a promo which I feel like we see every year now. Out the end of those consecutive promos, we got the Lords of the Fallen 2 gameplay reveal. Lords of the Fallen was a game that was unplayable for me at launch due to the bugs, but I enjoyed it once they patched it. Immediately the graphics looked better in the sequel. We saw some pretty cool looking bosses, but ultimately it looks like the same game. I didn't like the vibe of this trailer with the music. I found it more comical than gritty. Either way, I will probably be picking this one up when it drops in 2026. Rahul Kohli came to the stage next to debut the new story trailer for Saros. This is, of course, the next game from Returnal developers Housemarque. The trailer focuses on the sun and how it keeps dying. That mechanic is the main driver behind the roguelike elements. Part of the story here showed the team turning against the protagonist. I can't wait to delve deeper into Saros when it releases on April 30th, 2026, which is a month later than originally announced. Neon Giant revealed their new first-person shooter with parkour. No lore. There was no release date here, but it had a guy with a pretty sick tash. Evanescence did a performance of their song from the Devil May Cry anime, and hell yeah, this was awesome. It finished with the confirmation that Season 2 is coming next year. Total War had a collab with Warhammer 40k, which was announced by David Harbour, which felt a little out of touch, and then Ace Combat 8 was shown and the graphics were really impressive. This one is coming in 2026. Next up was Fuse Games, which contains some of the minds behind Burnout and Need for Speed. In collaboration with Lucasfilm Games, this is a pod racing game, pulling from the website speed across new and iconic Star Wars planets, with every world hosting a new kind of chaos. It's not enough to be fast, you have to know your circuits. Branching routes, varied environments, and dynamic risk-reward choices ensure no two runs play the same. Select from multiple repulsor craft classes, each with distinct handling and tactical advantages. Customize your build, unlock new abilities on every run, and master brutal takedowns. Choose which events to conquer as you race through a dynamic campaign of speed, sabotage, and survival, or battle rivals for supremacy in competitive multiplayer. No force, no prophecy, just skill, strategy, and the will to rise. Star Wars Galactic Racer is the title, and it releases in 2026. Out of Words, which is a cool stop-motion co-op game, had another trailer ahead of its 2026 release, and then was a great showing of Phantom Blade Zero. The combat looks so fluid, wow, it's impressive. It is really fast and reactive. The trailer also showed it had some QTEs, which indicates to me that there will be cinematic boss fights. This game looks awesome, and the main thing with its appearance here was the release date, which is September 9th, 2026. Are there any Megaman fans out there? If so, then get hyped, because Megaman returns with Megaman Dual Override. We didn't see much here, just a tiny gameplay segment which saw the classic 2D platforming action. Megaman Dual Override releases in 2027. Super Mario Galaxy got a new movie trailer for literally about 10 seconds, and Neo 3 got a promo ahead of its February release. It is having a demo available on Jan 29th. The one last thing of the show was the new original game from creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall, Highguard. This is a first-person shooter that opened with them riding on horses. It has magic and melee weapons as well as guns. More specifically, this is a free-to-play PvP raid shooter, and it being an original game from a new studio is a first for the finale of the Game Awards. We don't have long before we get our hands on this either, as Highguard releases on January 26th, 2026. That was everything we saw at the Game Awards 2025. Let me know what you thought of the show in the comments below. My highlights were for sure Control 2, Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, and Bradley the Badger. The Game Awards isn't just about announcements, and more importantly, it is about celebrating the amazing people who work on these games that we love. There were 31 categories this year, and here's who won each of them. Best Family Game, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Innovation in Accessibility, Doom, The Dark Ages. Best Esports Game, Counter-Strike 2. Best Esports Athlete, Chovy. Best Esports Team, Team Vitality. Best Mobile Game, Uma Musume Pretty Derby. Best Indie Game, Expedition 33. Best Adaptation, The Last of Us Season 2. Best Action Game, Hades 2. Best Performance, Jennifer English for Mael in Expedition 33. Games for Impact, South of Midnight. Best Ongoing Game, No Man's Sky. Best Audio Design, Battlefield 6. Content Creator of the Year, Moist Critical. Best Fighting Game, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Most Anticipated Game, Grand Theft Auto 6. The Game Awards Game Changer, Girls Make Games. Best Action Adventure Game, Hollow Knight Silksong. Best Art Direction, Expedition 33. Best Sim/Strategy, Final Fantasy Tactics. Best Debut Indie, Expedition 33. Best Score and Music, Expedition 33. Best Sports Racing Game, Mario Kart World. Best Community Support, Baldur's Gate 3. Best VR AR Game, The Midnight Walk. Best RPG, Expedition 33. Player's Voice, Wuthering Waves. Best Narrative, Expedition 33. Best Multiplayer, Arc Raiders. Best Game Direction, Expedition 33. And taking it all home with the Game of the Year, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 absolutely swept and won 9 of the 10 categories it was nominated for, only losing out in the audio design to Battlefield 6. Clair Obscur's 9 awards is amazing, as in contrast, no other game got more than 1 award. Congratulations to all the winners. I'll be doing my own Game of the Year video with my personal top 10, as well as a separate video where I will break down and score every single game I played this year. Keep an eye out for these on the channel. If you enjoyed this content, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, or if you didn't like it, then leave a thumbs down and I will try to be better next time. Let me know all your thoughts about the 2025 TGAs in the comments below, and for everything else, Casual Gamer, keep it here. Peace and love.